latency. If you're standing about 2 meters away from your amp, it takes 5.8 milliseconds for you to hear what your fingers are actually doing. So that's the baseline. Now you want to go digital. Now your computer also takes some time to do digital signal processing that introduces some additional latency. Now the DSP latency can be divided in two, and the first one is the quality of your drivers and your interface as well. With decent audio interface, latency should be somewhere around 3 to 5 milliseconds. I personally have a Focusrite Scarlett USB interface and it's about 4 milliseconds. The other part is the actual signal processing being done by your amp sims. Now this latency is directly dependent on buffer size and sampling rate settings. When you start hearing some crackling and pops and bad quality audio, it means that your CPU cannot keep up with your settings anymore. 48 kHz sampling rate is quite common, and with 256 buffer size, 5.3 milliseconds of additional latency. But that's not the whole story, because the buffer is actually processed at both the input and the output, which means that the latency is actually doubled. And now we have this 14.6 milliseconds of additional DSP latency using these quite common settings. It equals laying 7 meters away from your amp. That is already something that you can hear and get distracted. Let's go 128 and then we are at 5 meters.
I personally use this setting.
But let's go supercomputer and do 32 samples at 192 kHz sampling rate.
That's still 10 milliseconds of latency because the buffer size or sampling rate has no effect on USB latency.